This is the new Aston Martin DBX, and it's a little bit like, hello Miss Moneypenny, do you like my footwear? James Bond in Wellington boots. That was an absolutely awful Sean Connery impression. I'll never do it again. And it was a very lazy motoring journalist cliche to intro a video on an Aston Martin trying to dress like James Bond. Anyway, let's crack on with the video because I've got so much to show you and tell you about this car. But before we do, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you'll never miss me making a complete arse of myself.
Buying a new car? Head to CarWow to get offers from the UK's top dealers. carwow.co.uk, the car buying comparison site.
The DBX is the first ever four-wheel drive car Aston Martin has built in its 107-year history. It's also their first ever off-roader. So the first thing I'm going to do is take it off-road. Before I do that, I'm going to put the car into terrain response plus mode. What that's going to do is raise the suspension 50 millimeters above normal, give me some ground clearance, and it's also going to set the gearbox up, the central differential, the rear differential and the stability control for off-road conditions. Now what I'm going to do is follow the car in front round an off-road course. Now the idea is that I've got to keep up with the car in front. The only problem is that it's being driven by Aston Martin's Director of Engineering. His name is Matt Becker and he's the guy who sets up exactly how Aston Martins feel to drive on road, though now he's also doing it how they drive off-road. So I'm going to follow him around this course, but apparently he doesn't like to hang about, so I'm going to try and keep up with him. Right Matt, you ready? Let's do it. Obviously it's got all-round independent suspension because this is set up primarily as a road car. There's no rigid axles though like you have on like hardcore off-roaders. Uh-oh, oh this looks slippery. Come on, power up here! The four-wheel drive system can send up to 50% of the engine's power to the front to... Oh, that was scary, I didn't know what was coming and I was busy trying to talk to you. Anyway, you can send 50% of the power to the front wheels to help pull you up steep slopes such as that. Oh, this looks sketched. Right, I've got hill descent control, I better put it on, There it is. Now that should mean that I can just take my foot off the brake and the car will just ease itself down this slope at 4 miles an hour. I'm not going to risk doing it myself, I can't even see. Whoa, whoa, this is steep. Now he's getting away because I'm just doing 4 miles an hour. Come on, off with that, bugger it, come on. Oh, I'm going to watch that bit. Approach and departure angles are pretty decent. They're similar to a Porsche Cayenne. Obviously, it's not as good as a Land Rover Defender, but you know, this is going to be way better on road. This is nuts. It's like doing a forest stage in the Welsh rally. What's going on here? Oh, I need hill descent control again. Just relax and let it do it itself, because this is slippery. I feel a bit naughty. Shall I just do it myself? Turn it off. No. Let hill descent control do its thing. I turned it off to try and catch up and I almost got caught out. No. Come on, grip. Oh, come on, car. This one is on all-season tyres, not off-road tyres. I do want to be a bit careful with it because it's not cheap, this car. I don't want to damage it. Starts from £158,000. That's about £2 less than a Lamborghini Urus. Oh, looks like we're going downhill again and it's going to be slippy. I need to put my hill descent control on. I should actually just leave it on. You can drive through it. I don't know why I keep turning it off. I'm such a moron. Now I'm well behind. Come on. Oh, now it's getting steep. I'm gonna let the... I'm not... Whoa! Whoa, crap. Oh no. I almost totally cocked that up. I just lost all grip. I was sliding. Right, concentrate. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to crash into the cameraman. No. I'm trying to keep up. So I'm pushing the throttle to drive through hill descent control and then I'm losing control and then I'm like braking and nothing's happening. This is intense. Why is he braking so much? I've caught him up! Oh. We're coming off the off-road course. Oh, I don't like this bit. I think I just ground out a little bit. And I think I did a blooming good job of keeping up with Mr. Matt Becker. The DBX is clearly plenty quick enough off-road, but what about on-road? Well, we're going to find out now. So underneath the bonnet is a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 that's been hand-built. in Germany because it actually comes from AMG, just like the engine in the DB11 and the Vantage. Here it produces 550 horsepower and 700 newton meters of torque. Drives all four wheels via a 9-speed automatic gearbox. Now this car is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, but I'm going to find out for myself with my specialist timing gear here. The car is in its sportiest settings, the suspension's as low as possible to reduce drag. There is no launch control system though, you just hold it on the brake against the accelerator, release the brake and go, which is what I'm going to do now. Let's see how quick this car really is. Building the revs. It's not ballistic off the line. Now it's going though. 0 to 60, 4.09 seconds. That is good. 0 to 100 in less than 10 seconds. Standing quarter mile in 12.34 seconds. One other thing to try out is the braking. So this has big brakes. 410mm discs up front, 390 at the back. The fronts are gripped by 6 piston calipers. I'm going to try an emergency stop from 70 miles an hour. What am I going to get? Here we go. Emergency stop now. It did it in just 42 meters. I think this thing stops even better than it goes. That is really good. Another way this car is good at stopping you is when you walk past it and you're like, oh my God, that's one sweet looking SUV. I particularly like this. The ducktail spoiler and the light bar across the back, which is just like on the Vantage. The only bit I don't really like is this panel here. Still, at least you've got real exhaust in there. Well, I say real, they are hidden deep within there, look, as proved by the CarWow twig of truth. It's just that these are a surround, like an enhancer, sort of like wearing a ribbed condom. Now, this is my favourite angle of the car though, the side profile. No other SUV looks properly sporty. This does. I adore all the creases and the shapes. I love the fact that the vents are real. And as standard, you get 22-inch alloy wheels. In fact, you can't go higher than that. A Lamborghini Urus, you can get 23-inch wheels if you need an extra inch. And if you drive a Lamborghini, you probably do. Now, here at the front, classic Aston Martin. Though this is the biggest grille ever fitted to an Aston Martin and the biggest Aston Martin badge fitted to an Aston Martin. Another feature I really like is this. The daytime running lights surround this air vent, which is used to cool the brakes. I love the look of this car. And if you don't, quite frankly, you're wrong. Now I'm going to tell you what I love about the interior. Starting with the design. It's a really nice design in here. And it just feels so luxurious. It's like you sat in some bespoke luggage. Now, another thing that's great about this car is that it's fully loaded with kit. You've got stuff like electric heated seats, you have surround view cameras, all that kind of stuff as standard. You don't get that with the Germans. The things that you pay extra for on this are luxury items, like if you want this special colour of leather, then that's £2.5 grand. I mean, you get leather as standard throughout. If you want the Alcantara headlining, which is so nice to touch, it's 1,500 quid. If you want the extra wood veneers, which are super lovely, they're part of a £3,000 pack. And another thing I like is the driving position. So being an SUV, you get a great view forward, yet you feel hunkered down, so it still feels sporty like an Aston Martin should. And there's loads of room in here and lots of storage. The door bins, fit a big bottle in them. Where are the cup holders, I hear you ask? Well, look, they are hidden under here. There's more storage in there. You can do that, you see. Almost like that for your passenger or vice versa. Then under here, there's a special place for your handbag, apparently. And I've got my AMG handbag here. Continuing with the borrowing from Mercedes theme. Speaking of which, that brings on to things I don't like so much about this car, such as the infotainment system. Now, once again, borrowed from Mercedes, but it's their older system with some Aston Martin graphics on it. And it's actually not that great. Neither is the control system for it. It's the old Mercedes system. Not a fan of that. Then there's bits of trim which are a little bit cheap in an otherwise posh feeling car, like this surround for the digital dials. It's not very nice. Neither are the switches for the electric windows. And then there's this weird bit for holding the key, which isn't even the right size, and it's just horrible cheap rubber. Another thing I'm not so keen on is the selector for the gears. It's up there, but it's hard to reach it. Why didn't Aston take Mercedes column gear selector? It's brilliant, that is. They've taken loads else from Mercedes. Silly. Anyway, let's check out the back. And this will bring me back to things that I love again about this car, such as the door handles, they are cool, and the frameless windows, very sports car styly. Plus, look, all the windows double glazed for extra comfort. Right, let's see what it's like in here. Oh! Oh my gosh, there's absolutely loads of room back here. I mean, look at this, I can stretch out, lots of headroom as well. The luxury extends all the way back here, darling, and I love the fact that you get this huge glass roof and it's standard. It's great. Oh, let's just check this though, come on. Will the back window go all the way down? Don't let me down, Aston Martin. Ka-ching. Well, it's hard to fault back here actually. Middle seat's okay, even though there's this big hump in the floor, there's still plenty of room, and yeah, the armrests. That's a bit annoying, you know, if you like that. Someone's in the back, they end up with their arm in there. Should have a cover, but at least you do have through loadings, so you can have two people either side and carry your skis or whatever you need to. The only thing that I find is a little bit odd is this, the smallest ever seat back pockets, but at least they feel really posh. In fact, everything does. I mean, look at those grab handles. No plastic here. Yeah, it's lush. It's super practical. Let's check out the boot. Now the load capacity is 632 litres, which is more than the boot on a Bentley Bentayga, Lamborghini Urus or Audi RSQ8, and it's super luxurious even in here. Lovely carpeting, leather on here, nice metal scuff plate, no load lip. In fact, it's so inviting. Look, I just want to get in myself. Now wait a minute. Wait. This boot actually feels, I think, about 13 litres smaller than the boot of a Porsche Cayenne, which has 645 litres of space. That brings on to 5 annoying things about the new Aston Martin DBX. There are a few key features you can't get on this car that you can get on its competitors. For instance, you can't get it with rear wheel steering, which would be really handy when manoeuvring in tight spaces, because this is a big, long car. Then the soft close, which you sort of expect on a luxury vehicle, because I mean, look, I'm too rich to close it myself. I need it to do it automatically. While it's great that you have this double sun visor, it is a bit annoying that the vanity mirror is really rather small. I certainly can't fit in my big, vain face in that little space. The car doesn't have a rear windscreen wiper. Aston says that doesn't matter because the airflow of the car will blow any raindrops away so you can see fine. That's no good if you've been sat parked and it's raining, is it? You can release a seat electrically by pressing a button in the boot, but sometimes, yeah, they can snag on the seat belt, so you can, come on, no, come on, there we go. Right, which is rather annoying. And then it can happen that, look, like, that can get loose like that, and then when you put it back, it's all trapped. You know how much I hate that. There is nowhere to store the load cover underneath the false floor, look, no room. So you have to keep it in the car, which means that this lovely leather may get scuffed. That's annoying. I think I'm gonna have to take it somewhere safe, like my house. Thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5. Aston Martin has made sure that the car's doors do cover its sills, so in the rare event that you do go off-road, you won't get your trousers all muddy when you get in because the sill will still be all nice and clean. And I particularly like this. Look at that! You don't have to step down in the car, you just slide in. Love that, it's flat. Oh, and that plaque as well, that's cool. Awesome. The first 500 buyers of the DBX will get a special edition 1913 model. 1913 was the year that the company was founded, and those cars will come with some extra kit, plus the owners will get a special build book of their car, which is signed by Aston's creative director Marek Reitman. The car's making all sorts of funny noises. I think it's the air suspension having a bit of a fart. Also, those buyers will be invited to a special cocktail party at the Waldorf Astoria in London. You can get this car with a load of special luxury packages. One of them is bespoke luggage for the boot. Another features a special bag for the rear armrest. And you can even get a dogless pack. Whoa.
No, it's a dog package, Matt.
Dogs. Oh yeah, dogs, you're right. It's a special dog pack. Oh. Unlike many SUVs, this car has an almost completely flat underside to help improve the aerodynamics, and that's handy in a car that can do over 180 miles an hour. Aston Martin has tuned the exhaust for a very fruity sound, though if you need to be quiet it can be, so this is normal mode. Not too raucous. Now I'm going to put it into sports mode and it's going to open valves and make it more shouty. Yeah, you get the idea. Let's see what this Aston Martin DBX is like to drive in town. So I'm going to put the suspension through the test now straight away with a speed hump. Air suspension normally has a real floaty feel. This doesn't so much. It feels quite tied down, quite sporty, yet it still somehow manages to deal with bumps and potholes really well. I hardly notice that speed hump. One thing that I have noticed though is that it feels like quite a big car on the road, quite wide, but just cruising around town, yeah, easy. Thing is though, what's the car's turning circle like? Well, going around a big roundabout is no problem at all, but what happens when you need to manoeuvre in a car park? Here's a car park on the left, let's go in there. Now because this hasn't got that rear wheel steering, it means that it's not quite as tight turning as an Audi RS Q8 can be if you have that fitted with rear wheel steering. So come on, I'll make that round. But I'm going to try and park in this here space over there. Right, oh god, I'm doing up there. No, I thought that I might be able to just straight turn it into there, so I'm going to have to do some manoeuvres. The car does of course have an auto park facility, but I shan't be using that. It's great that you've got the all-round cameras though, really help. Especially because the visibility of his shoulder ain't great. There we go. Now, do you know what I want to do now I'm in this place? I quite fancy just leaving this car here. See what people think. Does anyone notice it? Hey, look at me. My brand new Aston Martin SUV, bright red. Guy in a Golf, come on. Look, brand new Aston Martin SUV, they never made one before. He's looking now, but I'm not sure if he's just looking at me because I'm looking at him. Bright red, brand new Aston Martin SUV. Why is no one looking? They do actually look at me in my G-Wagon. A lot more. Sod this. Thought there'd be loads of people looking at it. Maybe that's what you want. Even though it's red and an Aston Martin SUV, you can still fly under the radar. Let's go. Right, let's try this guy. Oh look my Aston Martin SUV. Not your phone. No one bloody cares. Here we go, look, there's some lads. They liked it. Not sure they can afford an Aston Martin DBX. Maybe one day. What do you think of the car?
Sexy, man.
Well, there we go, finally. Managed to turn some people's heads. If this DBX is going to be a hit, it needs to perform out on the motorway. Well, I can tell you it's very, very quiet, very comfortable and very easy to drive, especially as it has something that you can't get on other Aston Martins, and that's adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist. So I've got it turned on now and it does that thing where it's got radar to keep me a safe distance from the car in front, though I can tailgate a little bit if I want to. And look at this, the graphic for the distance between the cars is a DB5. How cool is that? Now, if I want to do the steering assist, I have to press a button down there, which means I have to take my eyes off the road, which seems a bit silly. Really, it should be on the steering wheel. Now it's engaged though, the car's automatically steering to keep me in lane, though I do have to keep my hands on the steering wheel, otherwise it'll disengage, but I don't have to do those tiny little inputs. It's super easy. This car in front's a little bit slow, I want to overtake suddenly. How does the engine and gearbox respond? So let's give it a go. There we go, floored it. Took a second, now we're off. We're flying. We're braking. Yes, this car performs on the motorway brilliantly. Now let's see what the DBX is like on a twisty road. So I'm going to put it into sports mode. That stiffens up the suspension, sharpens the throttle response, adds weight to the steering. I'm also going to change gears myself and just do that by pulling the pedals, and then it goes into manual mode. There we go. Obviously this is quite a big car and reasonably heavy. It's over 2.2 tons. But it doesn't feel as heavy as it actually is, and it certainly doesn't feel as long as it actually is. Now part of that is due to the rear diff. It can send power to the outside wheel with the most grip, and it really helps drive it through corners. Also, this car, when you're accelerating or driving normally, it's pretty much running in rear wheel drive only mode, because that central diff can send pretty much 100% of the power to the back wheels. Another thing that I like about it is, you think a tall car like this is going to lean quite a lot in the bends. It doesn't at all. Now, the reason it doesn't do that is that it has this anti-roll system, and it basically uses the adaptive dampers to stiffen up the side where the car starts to lean, so it props it up. Look, I'm going around here, staying very, very flat. The steering has not got the most feel to it, but it is precise and puts the car exactly where you want it to go. This is as fun on a twisty road as any other sports SUV I've driven. Is it as fun as a Vantage? No, of course it's not, but you don't expect it to be. But then it's more comfortable than a Vantage, and I've got a better view of the road ahead. This is the closest you're going to come to having your cake and eating it with a car. Thing is though, I wonder if it's any good at doing skids. I need to turn the stability control off. There's actually no button. Maybe I have to go through a menu. There we go, vehicle, through that, yeah, and then into that, and now it's off. All I've got to do is find somewhere safe to do a donut. Now this looks like the ideal place to try and see if I can donut it. Let's give it a go. Yeah, now the ESP's kind of coming in. Well, can I go back the other way? Go on. Oh! No! The ESP is never fully off. Still there, just kind of interfering a little bit. But I guess part of the reason for that is that it's a tall vehicle. And I need to make sure that you're not going to flip it. Oh, no. It's had enough now. Apparently, you can slide it for a bit, but then after a while, the ESP figures out that you're being an idiot and it starts to intervene. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Aston Martin DBX? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, to just keep it simple for you, I've got two SUVs that I would really like to own. One is an AMG G63 and the other is that. So if you've got the money and you want a luxurious, comfy, fun to drive and absolutely gorgeous looking SUV, just go right ahead and buy it.